In a bustling marketplace where the sun reflected off clay rooftops and the air smelled of fresh spices, baked bread, and warm soil, a young man walked hurriedly carrying a heavy load of goods. Life had been difficult for him, filled with struggles and disappointments that hardened his heart and made him believe that helping others was a waste of time. He had learned to look out only for himself, to keep moving, and to ignore the needs of others, thinking that generosity was for the foolish or weak. As he pushed through the crowd, he noticed an old woman who had stumbled, her basket of ripe fruits spilling across the dusty ground. Apples and oranges rolled between the feet of passers-by, some of whom stepped over them without a glance. For a moment he hesitated, wanting to continue on his way, believing that someone else would help her. Yet something stirred inside him, a small flicker of care that he had long ignored. With a sigh, he bent down, gathering the scattered fruit carefully, brushing off the dust, and placing each piece back into her basket. The old woman looked at him with soft eyes and a smile that carried warmth and experience. She thanked him and said in a quiet voice that kindness, no matter how small, never vanishes, and that it always returns in some form when needed most. The young man nodded politely, thinking little of her words at the time. Days passed, and the young man returned to his daily routine, working, carrying goods, and keeping his heart closed. One afternoon, while walking along a narrow dirt path carrying a heavy load, he stumbled, and the goods he had carefully stacked fell to the ground, rolling in all directions. Frustration and anger surged through him, but before he could gather the items alone, a stranger appeared from nowhere and began helping him, picking up the fallen goods and placing them neatly back. The stranger smiled at him, the same warm smile the old woman had given, and the young man's heart softened immediately. He remembered her words about kindness always returning, and in that moment he understood their truth. The realization struck him deeply that the act of helping someone, no matter how small, carries a ripple that eventually finds its way back. From that day onward, he walked through the village with a new perspective. He no longer ignored those in need or hardened himself against the world. He began to help others, share what he could, and treat everyone he met with care and attention, knowing that every good action, every act of kindness would eventually make life brighter for him as well. In time, his life changed, not because of luck or wealth, but because he had learned that generosity and compassion are never wasted, and that what we give freely to others ultimately returns to bless our own hearts in ways we cannot always predict. Moral: every act of kindness, no matter how small, will return to the giver in unexpected and meaningful ways.